Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever and wherever you are. This is Olivia, and thank you again for listening to the Greetings From podcast. In this episode of our news recap, we discuss Atari's foray into building hotels, how every game got delayed, Byleth's introduction into Smash, and the latest PlayStation 5 rumors. Hello everyone, it is February 2nd, 2020, and my name is Olivia Quinn, and welcome to the Greetings From News Recap. I am joined by my very two good friends. On my right is a woman who some have said is, ooh, majestic, Rebecca Faye.
Ooh, majestic! Hi.
All I can think about is Bloodborne. Hey, thank you for the blood.
It's like the one thing I got. Is an ooh majestic, and that's it. I can't do anything else. I'm sorry.
Well, to my left is a man who was Hunter, even in a dream, Tyler Smith.
Cos, or as some say, Cosm.
You could narrate audiobooks in that voice, and it would put me to sleep, and it would be so good. It's like very soothing. I love NPR Tyler. That's like one of my favorite Tyler voices is NPR Tyler. It's very good.
Perfect. I will talk like this for the rest of the podcast.
This is an audio sensory experience, everyone.
Please donate to get the tote bag of Bloodborne and a bloodstained eye, please.
Your donation helps us continue to make great content, such as this show that you're listening to currently.
How do I undonate?
Yeah, undonate. NPR shows up at your house to take their tote bag back.
Oh my god.
Well,
Sorry.
This is a news show. No, it's good. I like it. I said I wanted to bring that weird energy, and I'm happy we're here.
We're here.
We're in this space. Let's play.
Okay.
This is a news show, and we're going to cover a few of the largest news stories from January 5th to January 28th. And let me be real here, it was a pretty slow news month. But let's get into it. So the first quote-unquote news story is Atari is building hotels. And by building, I mean licensing their name to hotels.
This just seems like a joke. I'm sorry. This is a real thing.
It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. And I think that we're going to get into a little... I had to do some research about who exactly owns the Atari name and what they've been giving the name to, and it's a little salacious. But high-level overview. The French holding company, Atari SA, has announced that they are partnering with a brand, a rehabilitation company, which I couldn't actually find out what their role was, but it seems like GSD Group, which is the company that Atari is working with to make this deal happen, has worked with other... In the articles that I had read, they were self-described as a company that helps brands rehabilitate their image and like kind of does brand licensing deals and things like that. They don't have a website that I could find. Like, they were very hard to find information about. So I would love to know more information about GSD Group. Please reach out for comment. And they're partnering with True North Real Estate Development to build an Atari hotel in Phoenix. There are several other announced locations, including Las Vegas, Denver, Chicago, Austin, Seattle, San Francisco, and San Jose. Are you guys excited to stay in an Atari hotel?
I mean, I live here in Arizona, so I gotta go see it, right? But like, it's kind of out of obligation because I'm a gamer.
Here's the thing.
Gamer mecca.
Listen up,
Atari
gamers. Here's the thing.
It's like
I only want an Atari hotel. Okay, let me see if I can phrase this. I want the thing that I know that they're probably not going to do, which is I'm pretty sure they're going to play it 100% straight. And it'll be like an Atari-themed hotel, and it'll be kind of like gamer, quote-unquote-ish, because I know they talked about making it like an esports arena and facility or something. But what I really want is a Doom hotel room and like Qbert stairs. You know what I mean? I want a Asteroids hot stone massage. Like I want them to like go as hard as they can with their properties. Like all the way with their properties.
If they don't lean into this all the way, like if I don't have to jump through like a pitfall like area to get into my room, and if I fuck up I fall into a pit with actual scorpions that will kill me, they've failed. Like I want them to just lean into this 100%.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder it's for adults, right? Like you're not supposed to take your kids to the Atari hotel.
Well,
I think like Well, okay, so there's a lot of like articles out there that are just press releases reframed as an article, like on USA Today and other things like that.
Sure.
And from the press releases that I read, it seems like they're kind of positioning this as like, you're a busy businessman who needs a place to stay. Why not come to the Atari Hotel? Like, it's bring your kids, bring your family. It's kind of like the same, like, some people compare it to like the Hard Rock Hotel, but not for boomers. Like, it's the Hard Rock Hotel or Hard Rock Cafe for millennials.
I did see the
which I think is
comparison
a pretty apt description.
to Planet Hollywood, which, as we all know, went very well.
That's a good one.
As a business franchise. But we had one of those too. So
Yeah. Okay, so I did the research here. I'm very interested to share this with you. Atari has a very complex lineage that it's like literally 7 or 8 different companies. Like Hasbro owned them at one point and then sold that. And there's a shell company that was originally known as Infograms Entertainment SA, henceforth known as IESA. They are comprised of 3 different companies: Atari Inc., which does licensing and management; Atari Interactive, which kind of like re-releases and reports all their games to new platforms like phones and stuff like that; and Humongous Inc., which I didn't know, but they're the makers of like Freddy Fish and like all of those like. Do you know what I'm?
The
Yeah.
edutainment games,
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were under the like Atari family of companies. And like, let me be clear, this is based off of me looking at some Wikipedia articles, and I really tried my best, but it's a very complex lineage, and like they don't all refer to each other on each other's websites, so it's kind of hard to really parse this out. Apparently Atari's been licensing their name to like a bunch of things. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the speaker hats from a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
And they have that Atari VCS, which is their console that's coming out like supposedly this year. It doesn't have a release date yet, but it's supposed to come out early 2020 according to their website. And it's pitched as a console, but it's actually more of a Linux-based PC that has some Atari executables in it. And it's very, and it seems like very, from what I could tell, it's like the lead developer on it was like, we're not getting paid. We like, what's going on with this product? We don't know. So it seems like whoever's managing Atari like maybe has some issues. And also they licensed their name for $600,000, which seems like not a lot of money.
Yeah, what?
In the grand scheme of things.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So it was $600,000 and 5% of the hotel's revenue. But I feel like whenever I hear about like a licensing deal, it's usually a bit more than $600,000. So, they also license their names to casino games. Their property in a name to casino games. They also like put a lot of stuff on mobile, like a lot of like porting their old games to mobile. So Atari is a weird fucking company. It kind of makes complete sense that they would, if they're already involved in the casino business and the hotel, like, you know, that kind of space, that they would be in this, like making a hotel. But it just still seems all very strange to me.
So what is happening with Atari Interactive? Like, are they putting out games currently? Because I feel like, honestly, the last Atari published game I can even think of is like Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So that came out like 15 years ago.
I was looking, and apparently the developer of Roller Coaster Tycoon is actually working on a new game that's being published by Atari, but they weren't getting paid by Atari.
Oh my god.
Like, they were trying to settle things out of court. This was back in 2016 when the story that I read was. But they were interviewing one of the developers of Roller Coaster Tycoon, and they were they were talking about how Atari just wasn't paying them to do the work, even though they are the publisher.
Which makes you wonder that if they've amassed some debts, perhaps they would want a license for more than $600,000.
Perhaps.
Well, and all 3 companies also went through bankruptcy back in 2013.
Oh my god.
So
yeah,
like
Atari has died multiple times, and yet somehow, like a weed, keeps coming back. No one.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should keep resurrecting this corpse. I feel like they maybe just need to die. And I can't imagine a hotel is like really a worthwhile, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's interesting because that area in Phoenix where they're bringing it to is like based around like activations, you know what I mean? Like, it's all about experiences are all out there. And I realize that we as a state are trying to bring in things like the Super Bowl, and so we put up all of these things because it's like, wow, come stay here, we have all this like fun entertainment stuff to do in the little district, you don't have to leave. But it's also like, people don't come here in the middle of the summer. You know what I mean? Like, we have a really long season that isn't really tourist friendly. So who the fuck is staying at the Atari Hotel in July? You know what I mean?
I am very interested to see if the Atari Hotel actually gets built. Yeah. Like, it seems like there's a lot of interest in it, but I could totally see this falling apart. Like any kind of real estate development deal is super complex. Things can fall apart very easily. And then to come out with like, hey, we're going to build locations in like 8 different cities seems like a very ambitious plan. Yeah. And I'm not a real estate expert, but it just seems like completely over the top and no one expected this. No one was clamoring for the Atari Hotel.
No.
Like, is this thing gonna weather a recession again? You know what I mean? Not to be so dour and like obsessed with the economy, but I think about things like this as like that does not weather an economic downturn very well.
Right. Well, and this is a gut feeling. This is not me reporting on news, but it just seems like a lot of the things that Atari has done in the past have been more on the sketchy side than on the like up and up business side.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, is this like some kind of like money laundering front? Like, that's the thing I always think about, where I'm just like, oh, are they just trying to like get a quick cash in? Not that I'm not saying that I have any evidence of this, but it's just something that comes to mind when I think about how a lot of real estate companies can be run in ways that aren't 100% legal.
Yeah.
Not saying that's how this company is doing it, but it's something that I am thinking about.
I believe all of mattress stores are money laundering fronts.
They're all owned by the mob, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Or at least most of them are money laundering fronts. I believe this sincerely. I know people think this is like a joke, but I have a lot of questions as to why they open up. No one's ever in them. No one ever really seems like they sell mattresses there, and there's like 15 on a corner. I'm just saying. Would be a good money laundering front.
Just follow the money. Just like look it up on Google. Think about it.
Follow the money. I watched Breaking Bad. I know how money laundering works.
We know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm Heisenberg. Now.
What I want
mattress firm. Sorry.
Open a mattress firm instead of a car wash. I mean, probably a more low key, thing.
Yeah.
What this whole thing, what like jumps out at me is like strange is, out of all the cities listed, the other cities that are listed, Seattle to me screams like this is where the first Atari hotel should go, because Seattle or even San Francisco is a huge hub for games.
I could see Arizona being a good opportunity for it, because from my understanding of Arizona real estate, it's relatively inexpensive to build in Arizona.
I mean, that's
especially if you already
true.
have a licensing deal. So I'm kind of like, oh, like if you wanted to do like a test launch and see, hey, will this thing actually make any money? I could see Arizona being the right thing rather than going to buy San Francisco real estate, which could be,
I guess you're right,
billions upon billions of dollars.
It would be affordable too if they want to do esports. You know what I mean? Because it's affordable to get here. Like, it would be affordable for a lot of people to come out. You know what I mean?
Right.
We have the space. We have the
I
weather.
I could see them like rehab a bunch of old hotels as like, oh, this is an old hotel, now it's an Atari hotel. Like, that's something I could see happening as well.
That's
yeah,
true.
they could do that too. Yeah.
But
I wanted to.
I don't know.
Disneyland. That's what I want.
See.
Right.
Okay, so I didn't include this in our list of stories that we're going to cover today, but that Nintendo theme park trailer got announced.
It did open or whatever. Yeah.
And there aren't that many solid details about it, which is why it wasn't included here. But I think about the vibe that the Nintendo like kind of world thing is going for, with like Universal, like a major name partnering with them. And I'm like, man, I really want to go here. Whereas with Atari, well, it's like we put out some press releases and we got some media in like USA Today, but like actual details on their website are super scant, besides the like, here's what our vision is for this hotel.
Yeah. So
that's the other part of it, where I'm like, I wish there was more information about this. And I know businesses aren't apt to share that, and I don't have any contacts there, so I can't just like call them. But, it just seems like there's something weird here. Well, maybe it's just Atari sketchy history.
Well, Super Mario Land got, what was it, Charlie XCX or somebody like that to be in their music video? Like, come on. That was produced.
Yeah. Right.
It was acted. There was CGI in it.
They seemed so joyous.
Yeah.
I want to be as happy as the Mario.
Yeah. I want to donk my head on some question blocks. Let's go.
Tyler, I'll leave the final word to you. What Atari game would you like to see? Okay, if you had to choose an Atari room, what Atari room would it be? A room based off a game, what would you pick?
Well, I know that Rebecca wants her Doom room, which
Doom
is
room.
It's amazing. And I definitely also want the Cubert stairs, where you have to, like, just giant blocks I have to climb up and, like, But what I'm really looking forward to at this...
You just step on the wrong block and you just fucking fall forever. And all your curse words are just blocked out.
Do you have to sign, like, a liability waiver to go in the front door or something? because
Mhm.
everything here can and will kill you.
Correct. But what I enjoy the simple things in life, and if I was going to the Atari Hotel, if it gets built, I definitely need there to be a Pac-Man room, and all it is a black room with maybe some like white what are they called? Armoires? No.
Oh, like an ottoman?
Ottoman, thank you. To signify like, the dots. And then in the center of the room is just one single round bed that is yellow and like spins around. And you would
That'd be fun.
This is a sex room, is what you're describing.
That's what I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
I think about white furniture, and I'm like, there's something very erotic about white furniture that I'm not ready to deal with.
And a completely
Everything
black
is black.
room
Yeah,
with
completely
white
black.
furniture and a round bed that spins. That's the sex room.
And the bed is yellow, and that's it. And that's the
And
whole
there's
thing.
ghosts
honeymoon
there, and they just
suite.
haunt you forever.
Yeah. But they're real ghosts. Like, they're real people that die.
They'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. We wall their bodies
And they'll
up.
fuck you.
Inky,
This is what I
Blinky,
want.
and Spot. What are their names? Inky,
Stinky?
Blinky, and
Stinky? I
Clyde?
have no idea.
Clyde's one of them, right?
It's something like that.
Something.
Well, wise words spoken by a wise man. We'll move
Correct.
forward then to how every game was delayed this year. And by every game, I mean 4. To start off the month, we had 4 games that were delayed from the first half of the year. Final Fantasy VII Remake was delayed from March to April. Not super bad. Marvel's Avengers was delayed from May to September. So 4 months. Cyberpunk 2077, which was a big release in the first half, delayed from April to September. And this is allegedly. It's been denied by CD Projekt Red, but there are reports that it was delayed because of poor performance on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Again, CD Projekt Red denied that, so who knows? And then Dying Light 2 was delayed from spring of 2022. It's delayed indefinitely. We'll see when that comes out, which is a little strange.
Yeah.
Rebecca, are you bummed about these delays? How are you feeling about the delays? I know you can be conflicted.
Well, I feel like Tom Nook busted some kneecaps because he wanted to make sure that March was like... He can't bust Doom Guy's kneecaps, so he has to share his release date with Doom Eternal, but... I don't know, like, I don't care about Avengers. Like, Marvel's Avengers looks like the most blah game that I've ever seen, and I'm sort of like, whatevs. I think I have a lot of complex feelings about Cyberpunk 2077, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm not surprised. I feel like this is kind of,
Right.
this happens a lot.
Yeah.
I just worry about the crunch.
Yes. Jason Schreier released a report where he talked about how, with developers that he had spoken to, that, hey, when we delay games, it doesn't like stop the crunch for the developers. It actually just becomes this longer crunch cycle where people are just trying to crunch now that they have more time. There's higher expectations from publishers to actually have, less bugs or more features. So let's try to shove everything in there, which can be super destructive on the bodies and mental well-being of workers, which ain't great. So that's really important to note.
Right.
Tyler, were you looking forward to any of these games?
I suppose there are only really 2 that I was looking forward to, and that would be Cyberpunk. Just to like get it out there and just rip the Band-Aid off and see what game this is. And Dying Light 2. I'm not a huge the Final Fantasy remake. I will probably pick up at some point, but I've never been a huge Final Fantasy person, so it's not like I have a vested interest in the game. And then Marvel's Avengers, like Rebecca said, is just not catching my eye. It's so just not what I want.
Well, and it being a live service game also makes me feel a little questionable about Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah,
so
it's
totally.
strange.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. So the RIP Dying Light 2 is probably the one I was looking most forward to. I mean, Cyberpunk will be cool, I guess, once it comes out, but like it's being delayed. I'm not like crying about it. It's just I gotta wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's kind of left this. I feel like last year and the last couple of years have just been this nonstop like cavalcade of releases, and I can tell that we have the new consoles coming up, but I definitely do feel an absence, especially like last year we got Resident Evil 2 around this time, the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, oh, people are looking forward to it, and it ended up being this huge game. And it seems like we're not really getting that this year, which I'm fine with. I still have a bunch of stuff I'm trying to catch up on. I don't really mind game delays. It's kind of like, hey, let's just like give me more time to finish my giant backlog. I don't need new stuff to play. But it does feel a little weird to me that there hasn't been... I don't know if you guys feel similarly about this, because I feel like the last couple of years have just been nonstop bangers all the time, every day.
Yeah, it's weird. You can feel. I feel like the last year in a console cycle hasn't always felt like the last year in a console cycle, because it's usually like, oh shit, we gotta get all of our shit out before the new console come out. So you'll just see like blah, 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 like games coming out, and so it is kind of weird for it to just. I think not only to see so many delays, but to see these delays for current hardware, but so close up to the release of new hardware.
Correct.
Right.
So, I mean, I know there's a lot of rumors about like backwards compatibility and stuff like that, so maybe that point is moot, and maybe we'll find out if that point is moot, but it does, like, I feel like that is noticeable.
Well, and I imagine a lot of these games would get like a, I think Final Fantasy VII, because like it's allegedly got 8 different episodes, quote unquote,
Yeah.
or 8 different sequels. Like, I imagine that game would go into the next generation.
Yeah, like,
But
why
these,
even
like,
start it on the PS4 if you're going to release the other
Exactly.
7 episodes on a different console?
Right.
Well, and I'm like, if you're legitimately going to release, like, there's no confirmed number on the amount of episodes. We have no long how that game is going to be, but according to the leaks, looks like it's only going to be Midgar, and that's like 5
Right.
hours of a 70-hour game. And I just don't know how that's going to work. Like, how is the
Yeah.
cross-generational purchasing going to work? Like, is your PlayStation 4 disc going to, like, if you buy the digital copy, will that immediately transfer to a PlayStation 5 version? How is Cyberpunk? I'm imagining they'll release another version of Cyberpunk for PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a very interesting year, and a lot of weird stuff about purchasing products, I think.
Yeah, don't pre-order anything.
Yeah, seriously. It was also a little interesting to me. They were talking about this on the Bombcast, but a lot of these were, that's the giant Bombcast, to be clear. A lot of these were announced like via a screen cap of a tweet,
Yeah.
which I thought like it was a screen cap on a tweet that just had like a written statement, which seemed like a pretty low key way to announce these things. I haven't worked in PR in quite a while, and I'm wondering, is that pretty par for the course? What you guys have seen? It seemed like a little like strange messaging, in my opinion, but I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
It was very casual, don't you think?
Yeah,
It was like I wrote in my
Absolutely.
notes app on my phone, oh, we delayed this game, and then just posted it on Twitter. I was like, okay.
I mean, it was no
Well, and-
it was no bigger than Sony announcing PlayStation 5 or whatever that one time. They're just like, "Oh, hey, it's happening,"
Yeah.
and everyone's just
We're
like,
doing a lot of
"What?"
casual announcements.
Super R, yeah.
right. Well, and I guess I don't mind the pomp and circumstance, like losing that, but it just seems like controlling that messaging would be super important if I was in those positions, especially for something like Dying Light 2. But I guess, these are professionals. They probably know the right way to approach these things, just not how I probably would have done it. What features are you hoping they add to Marvel's The Avengers, Rebecca? What's the one thing you're hoping that this delay will let them add?
Characters that are not the original Avengers. Sorry.
Boom. Got him. Boomed.
I know they have like Miss Marvel, so like Kamala I think is gonna be in it, and did I see like Squirrel Girl was gonna be in it? So like that kind of stuff is interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm not really here for like the boring take on the Avengers that they have shown us so far. You know what I mean? Not saying they have to change the character models, but they're just so blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they have to be, it doesn't have to be Chris Hemsworth here or Tony like or Robert Downey Jr. or whatever, but it's like the weird off-budget, like, I bought these in, like, a dollar store, not exactly on-brand faces.
Yeah.
Just feels weird. So I'm like, I don't care about these
Right.
people. I want Moon Knight.
Put Moon Knight in the game. Put
Yeah,
Batman
put
in the
fucking
game.
Moon
That's
Knight.
my hope.
It's like, have you ever seen those things that they post online sometimes that are, like, and they're, like a, I don't know, a knockoff, something you can find in China that, like, puts a bunch of American characters into one package. It'll be like Power Rangers, and it'll be like Batman, Sonic, maybe a Power Ranger.
Put Sonic in Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope this just becomes the new Smash, where they just put, like, a bunch of different properties in there.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's there for some reason.
One thing that wasn't on my original list, but we can do a quick aside here, was about the new character announcement for Smash, which is Byleth from Fire Emblem. It was the last character in the Challenger Pack 1, which was the first like season pass of DLC. I'm kind of tired of Fire Emblem characters, even though I know people love Byleth, people love Fire Emblem Three Houses. Any feelings on that character announcement? I don't think either of you really play Smash, right?
It's just another sword guy,
Or Sword Girl.
or sword girl, sword
Hashtag
person.
feminism.
It's a sword person.
I will say, knowing people who are big Fire Emblem fans and knowing people who are big Smash fans, I thought those were the same people. But it turns out they're not. Oops. Sorry.
Well, I think it's
I was
really
like, why is
interesting
everyone
because
so mad? It doesn't make sense. I thought you all loved Fire Emblem. Oh, sorry.
you waited into a turf war.
Yeah.
You didn't even know
I
what's
didn't
happening.
know. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of people found out about Fire Emblem from Smash, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, who's Ike? I want to play these games.
Yeah,
but
who's Marth?
I
Yeah.
think, I think people are, in my opinion, I think people are like, oh, I don't really want another sword person. Give me someone weird. Give me another. I was hoping for like another Piranha Plant like character or Master Chief or something weird
Yeah.
that the level of Banjo-Kazooie. That was
Yeah.
my hope there.
Well, and it's weird that they're
So.
sequestering, I think, some of their most interesting ideas to, like, Mii costumes. Like, why can't
Mhm.
Cuphead just be Cuphead? Like, just put Cuphead
Yeah.
in it all of the
Yeah.
way. You know what I mean? They could totally do that.
Totally. Put Sans. Make Sans actually a character. Make Waluigi a fucking fighter, for fuck's sake.
I know.
Put him in the game.
Where's
Yeah.
Waluigi's invitation? Let's go.
So. Thank you for our Fire Emblem Minute. We will now move on to the meat of this pod, that is PlayStation 5 rumors. And I'm going to be completely clear here. The details that we know about the PlayStation 5 are that it's probably coming out this year. It has a solid state drive. That's it. As far as my research can tell, those were the confirmed details that we had.
I have a detail, and it's using the same font as last time.
How could I forget?
Are you
How
kidding?
could I forget?
Oh, no way. No way. They wouldn't. They wouldn't do that. That's too wild.
Their
and
logo did not
unpredictable.
change. It was just like, okay.
To Tyler's point, it is what we do know it's going to be in the PlayStation 5, so I guess that is important that we need to clarify that they're not
Correct.
changing the name.
It's the PlayStation 360 now.
Oh my god, I'd kill. If
Not
the PlayStation
XXX.
4 you.
PlayStation XXX 5.
PlayStation 79.
The PlayStation Series 5.
520.
So
Entertainment 720.
Yes.
here's a list of rumors, and I'm gonna go down the list, and let's you tell me how you're feeling on a scale from that's never gonna fucking happen to meh, probably. That's your scale here.
Okay.
So this is the one that I'm more like, I wish this would happen. I have huge doubts about it. Apparently the PlayStation 5 will it does have, actually, I'm sorry, one other thing I need to confirm. It will have support for PlayStation 4 games, and it will have support for the PSVR. Those two things are actually confirmed.
Mhm.
The rumored part is that it will support the entire PlayStation backlog except for the Vita. So it's going to have the PS1, the PS2, the PSP, and the PS3 all compatible. Like those discs, you put them in, they work. The reason for the exclusion of the Vita is because it has those touchpad controls on the back of it, which is why people are saying that won't happen. Rebecca, you
Okay.
seem like you got some thoughts.
How would the PSP games work on there? They were fucking UMD carts.
So I
Explain.
thought about this.
PlayStation, explain.
Because I didn't have a Vita. I'm looking into acquiring a Vita in the near
Yeah.
future.
You
From
need
my
one.
understanding, I know, right? But they used what the Vita used was cartridges similar to how what the Nintendo Switch uses.
Yeah, they're teeny
But you could buy,
tiny.
you could buy PSP games digitally.
Mhm.
So I imagine that those would be tied to your PlayStation account if you bought them digitally. So that's what I would imagine would work on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, that would
If
make
that
more
is
sense.
true. But, I think Jeff Gerstmann from Giant Bomb was talking about, like, oh, they could use the same whitelisted games that were on the PlayStation TV, which was that, like, Vita hardware for a television, which would be nice. But, from the reporting that I had seen based on the rumors, the Vita was the one exception to this. So, and a lot of this seems like it came from a 4chan leak, which the one part that was supposedly confirmed was actually not confirmed. So who knows the veracity of these rumors, but I think it'd be really nice for the PlayStation 5 to support all these games. Tyler, what are your thoughts on that?
It's about damn time, is what I would think if it's true. If it's true, I would love it to finally be fucking have one console that's homogenous with everything else that's been released ever. Like, why is that not a thing? Why is that not standard? I understand they as a consumer, or from a company view of capitalism, you want people to continue to consume your things and throw out the old and get the new. I get it. But also, why can't we have nice things with backwards compatibility why am I throwing away all these games and money that I had bought? People will definitely cherish you more as a brand, since that's like what everyone cares about these days. If you give us or allow us to relive or replay things that we already previously bought, even if it's like in a form of digital release. If I think I got rid of all of my PlayStation 1 and 2 games recently because I don't have a PlayStation 1 or 2 and I'm not going to play them probably ever again. But if they have a catalog online that I can buy the games again digitally, you bet I'm going to fucking buy them again digitally. They probably might even have like a pack. I know that they did just release, that PlayStation little mini
PlayStation Classic.
Yes, thank you. PlayStation Classics, where they had old PlayStation games. Maybe they were seeing how people would respond to that. I don't really know how well that did in comparison to the NES, but who knows?
Well, I think about how Xbox has been touting backwards compatibility as a major feature, and I think that if Sony can come with like, hey, we have everything going back, 20 years, that would just, I think for me personally, as a person who bought a PS3 recently, who hooked up their PS2 recently, because I'm a fool, it would be it would be helpful for me just to specifically stream old video games. That would make my life a lot easier if I just have one thing that I could hook up. So
I want to feel vindication for keeping every game I've ever purchased.
I mean, same.
Right.
That's what I do. I can't get rid of them. I sold my fucking Final Fantasy X for $2 to GameStop, but it haunts me to this day. I still think about it.
Yeah.
So, here's hoping that that's true. Okay, the next rumor, which I don't really have strong feelings about, it may support NVIDIA G-Sync, which seems like that's something the Xbox Series X was talking about with kind of like G-Sync technology. It seems like TVs are now integrating this. I don't really care about this, Rebecca.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know what G-Sync is. Everybody talks about it, and like sometimes I'll launch a game and it'll be like, do you want to launch it without G-Sync? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, at this point, it's like I've not known for so long that I'm afraid to even tell people. Like, I'm afraid to even ask what it is because I don't know. What is the point of it? Is it like an anti-aliasing thing? Is it like some kind of graphical thing? Is it like motion smoothing?
I think it's
So, okay. We're not... I don't think we're the right podcast to answer this question.
Okay.
And I think we're gonna fuck this up.
Okay.
But from my understanding...
No corrections, please.
My understanding of this is that VSync is a technology that helps you, like it aligns your game with the refresh rate of the TV, of the monitor that you're using. So it tries like the vertical sync rate. And so it's supposed to get rid of the like tearing effect
Oh,
you
okay.
sometimes see. And G-Sync is another technology that's supposed to do a very similar thing, but it's supposed to actually talk to your video card and make sure that like whatever is, rather than just being like, hey, we're going to make sure the refresh rate is the same, it's supposed to do some kind of voodoo where it talks to your video card and it's like, hey, we're going to make this look really nice because it's going to sync it all up. It's adaptive sync. It's also supposed to eliminate screen tearing and adapt to the frame rate of the outputting device. That's me looking at the Wikipedia article.
I
Cool.
pretty much thought that the G-Sync was like, instead of doing V-Sync, which your monitor, it's just syncing to your monitor, it's actively like directly inserting into your video card, and like so what's going on the video card is happening on your screen for the most part, as long as you have like a good refresh rate. So like it makes the game better technically,
Cool.
but like
Okay.
I'm not a huge, like, I don't really care either if it's with G-Sync. If it's gonna make the game look prettier, great, wonderful.
Sure.
And from my understanding, there's like G-Sync, which is NVIDIA's, like that's their brand. They've apparently opened it up to AMD, who's the other like video card producer. And I think that your monitor or your display needs to have that. It needs to be compatible with G-Sync, and I may be wrong about that. So if you don't have like a TV that can do G-Sync, which I guess some TVs can do it really won't matter. So that's
Cool.
my very novice understanding.
Thank you. That was helpful. I didn't know what VSync was either. I just know that there are
Fair.
a lot of games that I'll start and they'll be like, "Are you having a black screen error? Disable VSync." And it's like,
Dude, VSync like really
Okay.
fucks up streaming, so I generally turn it off, and I can kind of notice it. I feel like I've been trying to avoid getting the eye for good graphics. Like I'm just like, make everything a potato, because I feel like as soon as I start seeing good things, then I'm gonna be like, I need that. I need to upgrade my PC. I need to go buy some new shit, and I'm not in a position right now where I have the money to do that. So
I get it. I feel that.
Okay, next rumor. DualShock controllers will be compatible with the PS5. I feel like that's pretty likely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be
So.
strange if it wasn't. So
Seems like Xbox is doing that too.
Yeah. Well, and I think like I had said this in the Discord, but like the paddles that they're adding, I'm hoping that those paddles are there to help emulate whatever the PlayStation 5 controller is going to have, or it maybe has backwards paddles on it. So, or back of the controller paddles. So hopefully that's the case.
I love those paddles, by the way. Just putting it out there. I love them. They're great.
That's really good.
I'm better at Overwatch now.
Well, I bought that like third-party paddle system, and it worked pretty well, and I was using it for Overwatch specifically. Yeah. But I'd love to. It's like you can't use a headset when you use them because it plugs into your headset jack. So I'm like, I'd love to.
So this one plugs into your headset jack too, but it still has the jack out.
Oh.
So you could just plug it in.
Nice.
There, so you don't lose it. It's cool.
That's cool.
I like it.
I like that.
It's worth it.
The next rumor was that the saves from the PS4 can be moved over to the PS5. I hope that's that is my bare minimum expectation.
We're paying for cloud save, so
yeah,
right,
correct.
I would be very upset if that's not the case. So I took that as a given, but then I started thinking about a reality where we couldn't get those saves moved over, and I was starting to get very upset.
I mean, you can like Frankenstein them off here. So like I bet there will be like the reset era thread that's going to be like, hey, here's how you download your save file and type some text into the readme to make it compatible with the PS5. Like
I just realized is PT going to be compatible with the PS5? Do you think they'll let you move PT over?
Damn.
No.
Yeah, compete.
Maybe somebody will figure it out.
Yeah,
somebody will jailbreak it. So
they must. This is the crime if they can't. If I can't move PT over, this console's ruined.
It's dead to me.
And the details are apparently going to be announced at a press conference in New York City on February 5th. That seems really soon for me. So I feel like they've had no information about this. So I have my doubts that February 5th is the date, but who knows? Does that seem too early for you guys? That's next week. That's this coming Wednesday, but the day this is released.
Well, I feel like it'd be a good time to do it. They're not going to. So we might have discussed this before. I can't remember, but they aren't going to have an E3 presence once again this year, which means if they shoot their shot this early in the year, they got nothing else like super huge to announce during that E3 week. Although maybe they have some games under their belt. Who knows what's going to happen, maybe they'll just reveal like a little bit more on the PS5 or something. They'll probably like announce a game and be like, oh my God, this is on the PS5. Look how gorgeous it is. And then that might be it.
If I was the person who was in charge of making these decisions, I would want to, I think your point about like, let's get this out before E3, but I feel like they've been releasing like a little bit of information, like especially with like here's the logo and it's exactly the same. I feel like they can't do that again. Like they've already been releasing everything so piecemeal. Like they need to come out. Like if I was in that position, my opinion would be like, let's get all of the information out there. Let's like get people excited about it. Like of course you would keep some stuff back, but like let's at least give them these like key selling points. Let's start building the narrative now. So that would be my perspective on it. Okay, and the last detail is the alleged games, and they vary wildly. This was like pulled off of 5 different websites that were reporting on rumors. I'm going to go down the list, and then you tell me which one you're the most excited about in this fictional world. So I'm just going to read the list, and afterwards you tell me what you think. First one, new Horizon Zero Dawn game, a sequel to Marvel's Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, a new Crash Bandicoot game, a sci-fi game from Naughty Dog, Final Fantasy 16, a new Resident Evil game, Demon's Souls Remastered, Gran Turismo 7, MLB The Show 2, Godfall, and Legends, which is Sony Santa Monica's new game. They're the creators of God of War 2018. Rebecca, which one are you most excited about?
Horizon Zero Dawn sequel.
Hell yeah. Tyler, where are you at?
I mean, yeah, Horizon Dawn and also that Dark Souls remastered. Demon Souls, excuse me. Be great.
I hope it's... The problem is that I think I want a Demon Souls remaster that fixes all of the problems that it had. And I know I won't get that.
Probably not.
I hope it's exactly the same game. I hope they don't even change the fucking graphics. I hope it's just the PlayStation 3 all over again with the same frame rate issues.
I love the hubris of man behind saying that Final Fantasy 16 would be a launch game when there is no way that game isn't coming out until 2030.
Absolutely
like, there's just
not.
no way.
They just released.
That was the one game that I was like, that's not
No,
true. That's
yeah,
a lie.
that's not happening.
yeah, exactly. There's no way. Mm-mm.
I'll eat my shoe if
A
I
sci-fi game from Naughty Dog would be interesting, but
Mhm.
it depends on what kind of sci-fi game it is. Like, and there's been nothing, mentioned or hinted at from them.
Considering we haven't really found out anything else about Last of Us 2,
Yeah,
I feel like that would be my focus if I was in their position.
Yeah.
correct.
So,
Well, plus Bethesda has been working on their space Elder Scrolls.
God, what is
which
that
is supposed to
called?
come
out Yeah.
My brain.
Skyfall,
so long.
Starfall,
Something like that.
Starfield,
like that.
Starfield.
Starfield. Yeah.
Starfield.
Like that is what comes to mind when they say sci-fi Naughty Dog. I just think of Starfield, which they're working
Correct.
on, and they basically, Todd Howard basically was like, this is a next gen game. Like, it is not coming out this generation. So I could see something like that because we haven't heard from them for a minute. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think these games are very suspect, and I put the reality of them actually coming, like any of these games being on the list, to very low. I feel like none of us, like, except for Godfall, because Godfall is actually confirmed
that's
that the
true.
game
Correct.
exists.
Correct.
Well, and they're teasing Res Evil 8 now, so I guess that maybe isn't wrong per se.
Are they teasing it? I must
Yeah,
have missed that.
yeah, they're teasing
Did you
it
see?
now.
Wow.
Yeah, I posted in our Discord this morning. There's some rumors going around about a Res Evil 8. It's like, I don't know if it's legit. It was a leak. You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of stuff again. But it's
I remember
basically
this
like,
now.
yeah. So it's basically like Ethan is coming back. It's gonna be first person again. More zombies. They're adding werewolves. Chris Redfield.
I mean,
because he's always there apparently.
Resident Evil 7, which has a slam dunk, I'm down for any new Resident Evil game as long as it delivers like Resident Evil 7. But who knows? Maybe it'll get away with them. And
I kind of
we'll
forgot
see.
Ethan lived. I actually kind of forgot. And I was like,
Really?
how is he the pro tag again? And then it was like,
Yeah.
oh, right, he survived. I forgot Chris Redfield comes and saves you.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't go with Chris Redfield, but like I'm totally here for Ethan's adventure. Although I feel like we should give him a break because man, he went through a lot.
And Chris Redfield just shows up at stuff now. He's just
Right.
like, oh, by the
So
way, I'm here now.
beefy. I was looking at some of the DLC, and like he just punches his way through a bunch of like the molded. And it's like, Chris, you're so strong.
And isn't it like, is it the I Need a Hero? Isn't that what that DLC is
Or
called?
I'm not a hero, or whatever.
I
it's
need a
called.
hero. That's all I can think of. My name is Chris Redfield, and I'm here to kill all the zombies. You know.
Dude, he's so over the top, and I definitely appreciate his vibe.
I want a Chris Redfield game.
Well, hopefully Resident Evil 8 is just Chris Redfield. It's Resident Evil Chris. Chrisiden Evil.
He's on his own
Christian
adventure, and he like makes
Evil?
his
Oh
own
my
gun
God.
sounds. You know what I mean? He plays his own like background music. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I want. Sorry. Hire me, Capcom.
Well,
I'll write your Resident Evil sequels.
Hire us all.
It's gonna be our Chris Redfield fanfic. Is what it's gonna be.
and Chris Redfield took his shirt off, and then he punched a zombie in the face.
Oh,
Yeah, I
he's
know,
so
it's-
strong and brave. Save me, Chris Redfield.
And then he crushed a zombie's head with his huge rippling biceps.
Ooh, tell me more.
And that's going to be on our next podcast, the After Dark Show. This has been the Greetings from News Recap. You can find us wherever podcasts are hosted, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You can send us your questions to greetingsfromcast@gmail.com. You can visit us on the web at greetingsfrom.zone or follow us on Twitter at greetingsfrompc. We're also on Twitch at greeting. Oh God, I didn't write this one down.
We're
oh, no.
Greetings from PC on Twitch.
At Greetings from PC. Perfect. Follow us there. My name is Olivia Quinn. You can find me on Twitter at LivJQ. Rebecca, where can they find you on the internet?
They can find me at Rebecca Faye. Tyler, where can they find you?
Find me at World Jumpin' on Twitter.
Chris Redfield's rippling biceps.
Ah.
Hey gamers, that was it. That was the podcast. Thank you for listening. Our intro and outro song is an edited version of Deep Fried Space Food by Substitute Sandwiches. You can find a link to the song, plus links to everything else we talked about this week, in the podcast description. Please visit us at greetingsfromcast.zone to listen to more episodes, or find out more about your hosts and catch up on our blog. You can also follow us on Twitch and Twitter at greetingsfrompc. Send your questions, messages, or rants about every food being a sandwich to greetingsfrom@gmail.com. Or you can call us on our hotline at 347-642-6377. Bad with phone numbers like me? Just remember to dial FIRM GAMERS and you'll reach us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.